In this video, we will learn about treatment technologies based on the Anamox metabolism. We will start by reflecting on how the critical analysis of unexpected results can lead to the discovery of novel metabolisms and open broad biotechnological opportunities. We go back to the early 90s when Arnold Mulder from his Brocades Fermentation Company observed the disappearance of ammonium in the presence of nitrite in an anoxic sulfate-based denitrifying reactor. This was surprising, as at the time it was still believed that ammonium, a very stable molecule, could only be activated by oxygen. The subsequent collaboration with Gijs Koenen at TU Delft led to the discovery of bacteria capable of anaerobic ammonium oxidation to the nitrogen gas, in short, Anamox. This is a metabolism that was first predicted on thermodynamic grounds in 1977 by Broda. Anamox bacteria catalyze the oxidation of ammonium to the nitrogen gas with nitrite as electron acceptor, without the requirement of oxygen. In doing so, Anamox bacteria denitrify nitrite with ammonium as electron donor, also avoiding the need for external organic carbon for denitrification. In the simple catabolic Anamox reaction, ammonium and nitrite are respired in a 1:1 molar ratio. Interestingly, in the anabolic reaction, the catabolic electron acceptor, nitrite, serves instead as the electron donor to fix CO2 into biomass, as Anamox are autotrophs. This results in the production of a minor amount of nitrate. It is now natural to envision the coupling of Anamox with AOBs so that ammonium can be removed fully autotrophically. In analogy to what we did in the Sharon lecture, and considering that only about half of the ammonium needs to be oxidized, we can calculate the oxygen and COD consumption and biomass production. This equals to a 60% decrease in oxygen requirements, no need for any COD, and a negligible biomass production, as both AOB and Anamox are autotrophs. Again, the central question is now how to design and engineer an environment that selects for Anamox. To do so, we need to first understand the characteristics and challenges of Anamox bacteria. First, Anamox are relatively slow growers, with a usual doubling time between 8 and 12 days. Dedicated biomass retention solutions are needed to ensure sufficient volumetric removal rates and minimize reactor volumes. Growing Anamox in dense, easily settable granules, as depicted here, allows to retain more biomass per unit volume and reduce settling costs, as you'll learn in the biomass retention class. Operating at relatively higher temperature further increases reaction rates. Second, Anamox compete for nitrite with both fast-growing heterotrophic denitrifiers and NOBs. In this respect, minimizing the presence of easily biodegradable COD and controlling the oxygen supply is central to prevent heterotrophs and NOBs from growing in the system, respectively. Last, Anamox are obligate anaerobes, reversibly inhibited by oxygen. Solutions are thus required to ensure stable nitrite availability while also maintaining an anoxic environment. In this perspective, the nitrite-rich high temperature and low COD effluent from the Sharon reactor holds a lot of promises. This brings us back to Rotterdam, where the full-scale Anamox reactor has been taken into operation by the company Pax in 2002. The reactor treats the effluent from the same Sharon reactor we'll learn about in the Sharon class, with one difference. To meet the requirements of Anamox, of ammonium and nitrite being available in equal molar amounts, the reactor operation was made even simpler. If you recall, the alkalinity of the anaerobic digestion supernatant was sufficient for the oxidation of 50% of the ammonium. As a result, in this configuration, no pH control is required anymore, and nitrification stops once pH drops below 6.5 as the bicarbonate is depleted. Specifically, the reactor was built as a compact tower steel tank, where the bottom compartment is mixed via the influent and the recirculated gas, while the upper part serves primarily to retain the Anamox granules and polish the effluent. The reactor has been continuously operated since its startup and consistently achieves nitrogen removals over 90% at high volumetric loads. Currently, the majority of Anamox-based processes are one-stage biofilm-based partial nitritation and Anamox systems, where both processes occur simultaneously within the same reactor. Anamox and AOB grow together in dense biomass aggregates, called biofilms, and the anoxic zone required by the Anamox results from substrate gradients along the biofilm depth. Typically, Anamox grow under an AOB layer, where all the provided oxygen is depleted and nitrite is produced. In practice, partial nitritation and Anamox biofilms are found in the form of spherical granules or are grown on plastic carriers, as depicted in the upper and lower images respectively. In both cases, significant biofilm thicknesses are achieved from hundreds of microns to several millimeters, and microscopy reveals the stratification of Anamox and AOBs. Importantly, differently than in the Sharon process, where NOBs are controlled by the SRT, their complete washout remains a challenge in biofilm systems. The activity and growth of NOB can be, however, successfully controlled by carefully managing the dissolved oxygen set point. If the DO is too high, there will be sufficient oxygen penetration for NOB to grow while also inhibiting Anamox. If the DO is too low, there will be not sufficient AOB activity and thus nitrite for Anamox for full nitrogen removal. In addition, ensuring sufficient Anamox biomass to consume the produced nitrite further selects against NOBs. To conclude, whether Anamox-based processes are implemented in two- or one-stage configuration, they allow to fully remove ammonium autotrophically, with minimum oxygen consumption and biomass production, and no COD requirements. As soon as ammonium and nitrite are simultaneously available under anoxic conditions, and there is no COD, Anamox will be selected. This requires suppressing NOB via SRT control in the Sharon process or DO setpoint in the single-stage configuration. To date, Anamox-based processes are established for industrial and municipal side stream effluents, while their technical and economic feasibility for lower temperature and concentration municipal wastewaters is still being studied.